What's up, everyone? Back for another beer review, and today is day 7 of the 4th annual 10 Days of Pumpkin here on the channel. And the beer I'm reviewing today comes from Horseheads Brewing, and they are out of Horseheads, New York, and this is their pumpkin ale. So on the back of the can, they are calling this one an ale that is brewed with pumpkin, spices, and vanilla extract. It comes in at 7.2% alcohol by volume, 19 IBUs at the time of review. I don't know exactly how old this can is because it does not have a canned-on date, but as we know, when it comes to pumpkin ales, they are typically brewed and bottled in July and August at this point. So I'm going to say that this can is no older than around 3 months old at the time of review. So this beer, I'm going to say this. I don't think a lot of people out there even know about Horseheads Brewing. They are in the southern tier of New York State. They're around Elmira, and they're not that far from the Pennsylvania border. And for a long time, they have gotten distribution into the West New York area. When I got into craft beer back in late 2009, early 2010, I remember seeing them very early. And this beer specifically was one of the beers that would show up here. And back then, this beer got, I don't want to say a lot of hype, but a lot of pub for being one of the better pumpkin beers, period, in the US. Even if you go to, at this point, even if you go to Beer Advocate now and Untappd, this beer is on the top beers within the style. I think it's like top 15 on Beer Advocate and like top 25 on Untappd. And full disclosure, I've had this one before. I had this one back in 2013. It was a part of a bottle share, and I only gave it a 2.75 out of 5. It was really spiced forward. That's what I remember, but my palate was not fresh. We were in the middle of a bottle share. I only had like 3 or 4 ounces, so I wanted to try this on a fresh palate. And now that it comes in 16-ounce cans instead of big 22-ounce bombers, I was all about it. So like I said, on the back, they say pumpkin, spices, vanilla extract. It says an all-natural pumpkin and spices go into this beer to make it a crowd pleaser. So yeah, pretty happy about that. I just wish they had a canned-on date. So hopefully it's still relatively fresh though. I like that they've changed to cans. I remember the big bombers used to be quite expensive, like $6 or $7, something like that. So we'll talk about the price at the end, but this was a much better deal. Anyway, let's give it a pour here. I'm just hoping that this is better than 2.75 because, like I said, this has been a top-rated pumpkin beer for a very long time. You're talking about, around 10 years at least, and just wasn't for me. So anyway, yeah, that looks like a pumpkin now. It has the deep burnt orange color. It's murky, has about a half finger to 3/4 of a finger of this light tan, almost off-color or off-white colored head. Yeah, I was just looking because it's like different shades when I look at it and like move my head to the light and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, it plays the role of a pumpkin ale in terms of appearance. Let's see how the nose is. So that smells infinitely better than I remembered. So there is spices here. They don't say what spices, but right off the top, there's cinnamon, there's nutmeg. I'm getting that vanilla. They say vanilla extract, so it's not like vanilla beans, but it's the extract. Definitely getting that. It has that kind of pumpkin pie filling. Not a straight-on pumpkin pie itself, but just the filling of a pumpkin pie with like a dollop of whipped cream. That's kind of what I'm getting here. There's an underlying like caramelized sugar, brown sugar, sweeter confectionery type of sugar that you get, in the meat of the pumpkin pie, the filling. Maybe a little bit of clove there. Ooh, hang on. Now the malt base is giving me that graham cracker vibe. So I am starting to get kind of like pumpkin pie vibes in beer form here. It's not, what I like about the nose is that this is not, doesn't seem like it's gonna be sickly sweet. There's a really nice delicate balance between those spices, between the sweeter malt characters and the vanilla on top of it. Now I'm getting a little bit of ginger, so maybe it's just all the pumpkin spices, clove included. Yeah, it smells like a pumpkin pie. I mean, as it opens up in the glass here, I don't have this super cold. It's probably around like 50, maybe lower 50s. As it's starting to warm up though in the glass and starting to, I'm going back and I'm getting more. Definitely pumpkin pie filling, pumpkin pie in general. A lot of sweeter pumpkin pie just vibes to this one in general. So it smells pretty good. Let's get into it. Cheers, everyone. I have no idea how I gave that 2.75. That's the great thing about palates. They change over time. Sometimes your palate acclimates to different styles, different tastes. I can, without a question, say this is nowhere near a 2.75 drinking this on a fresh palate in 2021. Body in this one's like meaty, I'm going to say meaty, like pumpkin meat. No, this is like medium to higher side of medium, 7.2%. Has a pretty decent heft behind it. It's not like, you know, thick and syrupy and full bodied or anything, but I like that it's 7.2% and it drinks like it from a body standpoint. The mouthfeel, listen, it's like most pumpkin ales. It has a crisp, effervescent carbonation. It's very crisp on the palate. There's a little bit of like a smooth character to it, but it's not like super creamy or soft or anything. Yeah, it's slightly smooth and creamy, but more of that, you know, carbonated beverage, which is beer. The taste, though, right at the tip of the tongue, I'm hit with cinnamon, allspice, spicier, kind of cardamom, a little bit of ginger. Passes through the palate, that's where that malt kind of pops in. Like I said, it's caramelized sugar, it's brown sugar, it's almost like a bready / graham cracker type of malt. It's not straight on graham cracker. I think I'm reaching for that a little bit because I want it to be straight on pumpkin pie vibes, but it doesn't have to that level of graham cracker, but you know it has that like crackery, bready, sweeter kind of malt base to it. For my palate, the spices hit you at the front, but they carry on through, and the vanilla is underlying and it's omnipresent. It's there throughout the entire palate, but it's like the third or fourth character each time you go back for a sip. It finishes with a very slight touch of bitterness. Don't worry about this beer being too bitter if you're looking to buy a pumpkin ale. Definitely not the case. It just has a slight bitterness on the back of the palate that's kind of mixing in with a semi-dry pumpkin spice finish, cinnamon and the allspice, just kind of giving you like a dusty kind of semi-dry finish. 7.2% outside the body. You really can't taste the alcohol whatsoever. The body just indicates it's bigger, so it hides it quite well at 7.2%. Yeah, this is really good. I don't know why I gave this a 2.75 out of 5. Like I said, when you drink beers and you rate beers, and a lot of people say ratings don't matter, and in the grand scheme of things, they really don't. But I like rating beers. I like to let you guys kind of know to what level I really enjoy it. You should be able to properly understand how much I enjoy a beer as I'm reviewing it, like say if I like it or not, to what degree. But I like the number games, right? When you review something and you're at a bottle share and you're hanging out with friends and you're 10, 15 beers deep and you drink something like this and you give it 2.75, your palate's not fresh. Whatever you're doing, maybe you're drinking a beer every 5 minutes. Things go into that rating that you're not going to get the same experience drinking a whole can or drinking like the 4 to 5, 6 ounces I do on camera and letting you guys know what I think about it and trying to break it down. So this beer clearly does not deserve a 2.75. I gave it back in, I think it was 2013. I said, it's much better than that. I'm going to pour the rest in here. We're going to rate it. But I would say if you're in New York State or maybe north central Pennsylvania, I would imagine you get distro of these guys. And they have other beers that I've had in the past. They've made like a jalapeno beer. They have, I think, a blueberry beer. For me, though, I always wanted to try this one again because of my prior experience. And I would say that I'm glad I did. Maybe I'll have to check out some more of their stuff. Yeah, a little bit more spicy with pouring the rest in. Could just be my palate. But the pumpkin ale from Horseheads, rating a straight 4 out of 5. Listen, it's in the, like I said, top tier with Beer Advocate and Untappd. It's not one of my favorite pumpkin beers. I'm not going to sit here and bullshit you and lie, but I will say this. It's a really well done, balanced pumpkin beer. You get the spices, you get the malt base, the vanilla is there. It has pumpkin pie filling with a little bit of whipped cream on top kind of vibes to it. The graham cracker isn't there as much as I would hope to kind of get the whole pumpkin pie as a whole into the beer, but it doesn't need to be. So 4 out of 5, I think, is a fair score for this one. If you've had this one before, let me know what you think about it. Like I said, I don't know how many people have had this one. I feel like if you're not in New York State and you've had this one before, you probably seeked out pumpkin beers back in the day. Price point and availability. Availability, like I said, I don't really know. I know it's in New York State and maybe, like I said, north central Pennsylvania. I don't know. Maybe they get in Ohio. I don't know. If anybody knows about their availability, if you see this beer in your neck of the woods and you're not in New York, let me know about it. Price point, I forget. I don't think they were selling the 4-packs, but I think I paid like $3.50 for that can, which would indicate to me that this is probably a $13 or $14 4-pack. For a pumpkin ale, 7.2%, that's as good as this. I think that's a pretty good deal. So that's a pretty good value for a pumpkin ale that is almost approaching imperial. I think it's pretty solid anyway. So yeah, anyway, not much more to say about it. Appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. Check back tomorrow. We got day 8. We got, I believe it is Mashing Pumpkins from Beer Tree. I'm excited to give that one a go. And yeah, we're getting down to the last couple days and I'm going to miss pumpkin beers, but I'm also not, because, you know, I drink 10 in a row and then I'm kind of done with them, but I love trying new ones each year. So yeah, we're going to continue this every single year. It's going to be a yearly tradition. It's going to be fantastic. Anyway, till the next one. Cheers.